Have you ever noticed that the quietest people often seem to know the most? Not the loudest ones. Not the ones who argue for no reason or talk just to be heard. No, it's the silent ones. The ones who watch more than they speak. Who sit still while the world moves fast around them, and somehow they see through you. What if I told you silence isn't weakness? What if it's not emptiness but fullness? What if the most dangerous thinkers are the ones who never say a word? I used to be loud, not just in voice but in life. I had an opinion on everything. I argued with strangers online. I talked over people in meetings. I thought noise was power. I thought volume meant value. But deep down I was broken. I was 24 and living in my aunt's basement. Not because I needed help. I told myself it was temporary. But the truth was, I didn't have anywhere else to go. My phone buzzed all day. Messages from friends I hadn't seen in months. Texts from girls I'd ignored. Emails from job applications that went unanswered. And none of it mattered. I remember one night. It was raining outside. That slow, steady kind of rain that makes the world feel like it's melting. I sat alone on the floor, surrounded by empty food boxes and clothes I hadn't worn in weeks. My laptop glowed with another rejection email, and I just stared at the ceiling, at the wall, at my hands. I had dreams once. Real ones, to write, to create, to matter. But somewhere along the way, I stopped listening. To myself. I filled the silence with noise, with distractions, with meaningless fights and shallow talks, because silence felt too heavy, because silence made me face what I didn't want to admit. I was lost. The change didn't come with some big moment, no sudden clarity, just small steps. One day, I closed all my apps, turned off my phone, sat in silence for 10 minutes, that was the first victory, then 20, then an hour. I started writing again, not for anyone else. Just for me. Pages and pages of thoughts. Some were angry. Some were broken. Some were beautiful. I began going for walks. Not runs. Not marathons. Just walks. Through the neighborhood. Through the park. Through the fog in my mind. And something strange happened. I started hearing things, the wind, the birds, my own heartbeat. I realized I had spent so long talking at the world that I forgot how to listen to it and to myself. There's this game I used to play, World of Warcraft. Yeah, I know, embarrassing. But here's the thing. In that game, you grind. You do the same repetitive task for hours, sometimes days, just to unlock a new skill or weapon. Everyone plays for the reward, the shiny sword, the cool armor. But no one talks about what actually changes you. It's not the loot drop. It's the time you spent grinding, the patience, the persistence, the moments where you almost quit but kept going. Real life is like that. We chase the finish line like it's salvation. We think if we just get that job, that body, that person, we'll finally be okay. But the real growth happens in the grind, in the silence between the wins, in the moments when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when you're just showing up for yourself. That's when the real work begins. 2 years later, I moved out of that basement. I got a job, a real one, writing. Of all things, I published my first article, then another, then a book. People started calling me inspirational. They said I was brave, resilient, strong, but none of that felt true, because even after the success, there was still something missing. I had everything I thought I wanted, But I still woke up some mornings feeling like I was back on that basement floor. Why? Because I confused transformation with fulfillment. I thought if I fixed the outside, if I looked better, earned more, spoke louder, that would fill the void inside. But silence doesn't mean emptiness. Sometimes it means space. Space for something deeper. Something I wasn't ready to hear until I stopped trying to drown it out. Here's the truth. No one tells you. The loudest people in the world are often the least aware. They shout to be heard. They post to be seen. They debate to prove they exist. But the quiet ones? They're not hiding, they're listening. To the rhythm of their own hearts, to the weight of their thoughts, to the wisdom that only comes when you stop speaking long enough to hear what your soul is saying. There's a reason we fear silence. Because in silence, we can't lie to ourselves anymore. And the most dangerous thinkers aren't dangerous because they're angry. They're dangerous because they know. They've done the work, the inner work, the hard, invisible work of facing themselves. And when someone has the courage to sit in silence long enough to understand who they truly are, that's when real power begins. So here's what you can do today. Turn off your phone for 10 minutes. Sit in silence. Listen. Then write down one thing you've been avoiding thinking about. Then do one small thing to move forward. Walk around your block. Call someone. Apply for that job. Progress. Perfection. Every single time. Thanks for watching. You're not alone in this, and you've already started. Keep going.